Preparation for success. Does anybody remember that? A little bit? Okay. Well, this is like the sequel. So this is part 2 of preparation for success, and we're going to talk about leadership today. All right? Awesome. Okay. So, the things that we want to get, the outcomes that we want to get from this presentation, first of all, everybody's going to learn what is leadership if they don't already know, which I'm sure you do because you guys are bright people. The benefit of being a leader over being a follower. Identifying the traits and skills of an effective leader. Examining the roles, duties, and responsibilities of a team leader in school, work, and life. Understanding the differences between responsibility, accountability, and authority. And then lastly, we want to identify some of those leadership potential qualities that are in you. So one, you want to make sure that you're listening, not talking, and paying attention. All right, so we'll start up. So has anybody got an idea just off the bat? Like if somebody asked you to define what leadership is, what would you say? Yes. You can yell. Please use your outside voice. And you raised your hand. I didn't do it. Go ahead.
Like a leader, like showing an example for people.
Showing an example for people?
Yeah.
Keenan, you're gonna get a workout today because I got a lot of questions.
Say it in the mic.
Like showing an example for people and yeah.
Showing an example for people. Okay, that's good.
Don't be shy, people. Don't be shy.
That's good. Give me another definition of leader. We want to have a couple of them.
Don't be
Another
shy.
definition of leadership. Somebody raise your hand. Can I get a young man to raise their hand? Uh-oh. Where we at? There we go.
Someone who takes charge of the situation and is a team leader.
Oh, I like that.
I love that.
Let's go. We got one back there. Last one back there.
I see it.
Yep. Keenan is moving. Look at those cat-like reflexes.
Someone who can like change the world.
Someone who can change the. And she
Someone
grabbed the
who
mic
can
with
change the
confidence
world.
and authority.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
Love
Yes. So those are all great definitions of leadership, right? But why is leadership important? So why would leadership be important? To anyone who answered that question or anyone who has an idea, why would it be important to be a leader? And why do we need leaders? Anybody? Why do we need leaders? Yes.
So we don't live in a world of followers who keep on doing the same thing and copying off of each other?
Bang. Perfect. Yep. Yeah. So we need people to kind of set an example for others to follow. And if we had a bunch of followers, then nobody would step up. Perfect. Okay. Moving forward. Are leaders born or bred? Now this is a question that we are actually going to examine today. It's going to come up again. But when we say born or bred, what are we saying? Yes. Born or bred?
I think bred.
Oh, you think bred?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is bred?
What does bred mean again? How are you going to say yes? So are they born? So are you born a leader, or do your experiences and does somebody help you become a leader? What do you think? I'm sorry? You think everybody can be a leader? Okay. Perfect. Yes.
I think that some people are born as leaders. I think that some people are born as leaders and some are way up.
Okay, some people, he thinks some people are born as leaders and some people become leaders. Okay, I'll take that. Absolutely. All right, so this professor defines leadership as a function of knowing yourself, having a vision that is well communicated, building trust among colleagues, and taking effective action to realize your own leadership potential. Okay. That is a nice quote, and that says a lot. But I think some of your explanations were just as valid, if not more. right? Okay, so are you a leader or a follower? Who's a leader? If you're a leader, step up, stand up. That's okay.
Love it.
If you are a leader, stand up. If you're not, that's fine. All right? Okay, what makes you a leader? Now everybody wants to sit down. Yes. Go ahead. What makes you a leader? I'm not even going to put the mic on you. You help people. Okay. Yes. Kind people. Okay. All right. Yes. You're a role model for your younger siblings? Awesome.
Younger students.
Oh, younger students. Okay. And, yes.
I take charge when nobody else is doing something in a situation.
Okay, you guys want to make sure you're hearing her. So you take charge when other people don't. Awesome. Who else had their hand up? Yes.
I help younger leaders.
You help.
I help younger leaders.
You help younger leaders. Awesome. Yeah, because we need that, because we got to have the leaders of the future. So perfect. All right. So is being a follower a good thing or a bad thing? Yes. Okay. Why do you say it's a bad thing?
You follow the wrong people and it's like that.
Yeah, that's actually true. So sometimes following the wrong type of person can lead you into trouble. So absolutely, yes.
It's just like good and bad. Like if you follow someone that does good stuff, that's like good and bad. You're doing the same thing.
Yeah, let's.
Let's.
Because I heard some of it and it was great. So I want to make sure we get that.
It could be good or bad because, like, if you follow someone that does good stuff, that's good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes you need to be a follower. And not necessarily like the label of follower. But like, let's say you're in a situation like the military, right? In the military, you have an identified chain of command. So you have people that you have to follow if you're under them in that chain of command. So, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. All right? You just want to make sure that we are following the wrong people, and then the entire time that we are following, we are training ourselves to be leaders. Is everybody in here going to be a leader?
Yeah.
Does everybody in here want to be a leader? Awesome. Okay, so we're going to show a short video, and it kind of goes along with some of the themes that we're talking about today. Okay, so this is from the movie Rocky Balboa. I don't know if any of you guys are young, old enough to know what Rocky is, but check it out, you'll get it.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is going to be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Well, with my last name, that's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself. And this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only going to end up bad for you, and it's going to end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
It's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke, and that I'm going to be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this. But you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.
So that was a little bit dramatic, a little bit. But it makes a point. I want every one of you in here to be a leader. I want every one of you in here to stand up when people try to knock you down. When people try to tell you that you are not good enough, sometimes that little voice is in your own head. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. All of that is junk. It's trash, throw it away. You are all brilliant. You are all strong. You are all more than enough. So I want you to internalize that. Keep that within yourself so when people do try to knock you down, you are well armed and you are able to shrug it off and throw it in the trash, okay? If you guys get nothing else out of it today, get that, okay? For me, for you, let's go, all right. Okay, so let's start digging in. Leadership traits and skills, all right? So here, I kind of have a short little definition right next to what a trait is and what a skill is. Does anybody know the difference just off the bat? You can use the definition if you want to. How is a trait different than a skill? We were talking about it earlier when you were talking about, when you were talking about our leaders born or bred.
Yeah, a trait is something that you can learn. A skill is something that you can learn and just get better at over time. And a trait is just something that you're born with, and it's something that you build on.
Right. And that's pretty, that's pretty much it. Now a trait, you don't have to be born out the womb like this is me and I have all these traits. But a skill is something, a trait is something that you kind of have, you gradually it just becomes a part of your personality. A skill is something that you say, I want to learn this, I want to get better at this. So they're different. And then even within there's soft skills and hard skills, but we'll get to that. All right, so let's start looking at traits. Oh, you know what, before we do that, give me an example of a trait. Something that you're kind of born with, as opposed to something that you like a skill that you develop. Like, give me an idea of what a trait might be. Anybody? Yes. Good at math. Oh, being bad? Being angry. Yes, angry, is a trait. But let's talk about leadership traits. So what might be a good leadership trait? But that was excellent, actually. Yes. Being brave, yes. Absolutely, being brave. Standing up for yourself, yes. What else? Give me another thing that's a trait, and then we can move on to skills. One more. Yes. Being strong, yes. Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's run down a couple more. So achievement-oriented, assertiveness, honesty is a trait, integrity, that's a good one, intelligence, persuasiveness, creativity, decisiveness. Now decisiveness, what's that? This is not me, absolutely, because like when I go to the store, I can't figure out what I want to get. So I'm not decisive in that matter. Yes.
I'm not sure, but it has to decide or something like that.
Yeah, it has the word decide in it. So yeah, it's basically the ability to be able to make big decisions and be confident about them. Yes. Dependability, very important. Energetic, high activity level, persistent. Inquisitiveness. Now what does that mean? Inquisitiveness. Anybody? Who's inquisitive in here? Okay. It basically means curious. Like, I want to look into things. I'm interested in things. Self-confidence. Absolutely. That goes along with being strong. Tolerant of stress, being able to handle stress. Willing to assume responsibility. Okay. So those are all nice traits. Now let's see how they differ with skills. So skills we have adaptable to situations. Like, well, you have to have been in different situations to be able to adapt to them. So that's why that's a skill. Ability to delegate. Keenan, what does delegate mean?
So delegate means what Cheney just did. He gave me the microphone. He decided he was done talking. He had me take it over. So he's been talking a lot. What else do we have, Cheney? Transparency. Does anybody know what it means to be transparent as a person? No. Does anybody want to guess? Who we got? I'm on the move. Talk to me.
When people can actually see you.
When people can actually see you, when you're being truthful about who you are, presenting yourself exactly as you are, being transparent, being truthful. Keep going, Jen. Conceptually skilled. Anybody, help me. My God, I love you right here. Being a good thinker? Absolutely. Anybody else? How about the guys over here? Y'all have something to say if y'all talking to each other. My man. That was perfect. Yes, you. What does that mean? I figured y'all was discussing it.
They were having a whole little conference about
No? No. You have no idea. All right.
All right.
Keep it going.
Pay attention.
Problem solver. Who's a problem solver here? What does it mean to be a problem solver? I love we got to point at each other. Who is a problem solver? Nobody. You guys just don't solve problems? Yes. I can't hear you. You gotta speak. Y'all can talk.
Say it with your chest.
Share the chest. Be a man.
Or a woman.
Or a woman. But he's a man. Say it again. Someone that fixes things. That sees situations and can solve them. Good job. Diplomatic and tactful. Does anybody have any idea what that means?
We're using our vocabulary.
Those are some 25-cent words I used to say growing up. Diplomatic and tactful. Anybody? Now, when I called him out earlier for talking and not paying attention to me, was that diplomatic or tactful? Anybody? Yes or no? No?
Yes, over here.
Yes. So it was not too diplomatic because I was not being very nice, but it was tactful because I got accomplished what I wanted to get accomplished, which was get his attention. So it was very tactful, but not diplomatic. I could have done it more diplomatic, probably been a little nicer, a little more gentler in my delivery, but I wasn't. Effective communication. Am I effectively communicating right now? Yes or no?
Yes.
You sure? How do we know? What makes effective communication?
When people understand what you're trying to tell them.
Exactly, when people understand what you're trying to tell them. So it doesn't matter what I'm saying. If you have no comprehension, if you don't understand, then it doesn't matter. You know. Active listening. This is a skill that can be developed. It's a lost skill. I have too many people that I've hired and fired because of this one thing. They do not practice the skill of active listening. What does it mean to actively listen? It's a super hard skill today. Let's go. Be able to listen for a long, but it's more than just listening for a long time. But that's a good answer. Being observant is part of it. You had your hand raised.
Being able to like listen to people, like other people are saying.
Being able to
Listen to other people,
being able to listen to other people.
like with their problems like that. I don't know.
Absolutely. But keep going. Exactly. Not only just listening with your ears, looking at while they're talking, being attentive, fully understanding not what they're saying, but what is the message they're trying to convey, right? In this day and age, I find that because we're so busy on our phones and distracted and we're talking while texting at the same time, a lot of people that I've hired don't have the ability to actively listen, to fully comprehend what I'm trying to convey, right? So they'll do what I told them to do, but they don't do it the way I told them to do it because they're not actively listening. They're just kind of listening, right? So right now, y'all could be kind of listening and taking in a couple of things, or actively listening and taking in everything. This is another skill you can develop. Knowledgeable about group task. Knowledgeable about group task. That's a lot to unpack. Anybody can help me with that. Not you. Don't wave at them. Anybody else? All right, we got like 15 minutes left to get through this. Let's keep rocking. Organized. That's a skill. Everybody can get organized. So if you're not organized now, being organized can save you a lot of time. So it's something you can practice at home, getting your room together every day. The one thing y'all can do before you leave the house is just make your bed. That starts the practice of being organized. Socially skilled. This is something that I believe a lot of you guys have. You can practice talking to each other, being socially skilled. Keep going. The ability to multitask. You can practice that as well. It's a skill that can be developed. What else do we have? Ability to influence others. Who's an influencer here? You're an influencer. Social media influencer.
Well, influence people around me.
You influence people around you. How do you do so?
I can help people make better decisions. I also help people work if they don't know how to do it.
You help people make better decisions, and what else?
Help people work if they don't know.
Okay, is that a skill that you can continue to get better at?
Yeah.
Yeah, the answer is yes. All right, is that it, Cheney?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, so.
You want to take it back? Let's go.
All right, so when I was growing up, a leader that I was kind of admired in my life was Michael Jordan. So that's who that is. That's why we have that image. But I want you guys to do a group exercise. You guys have papers in front of you? So what I want you to do is to take a leader, or it could be a parent, it could be a family member, community member, school person, or it could be like a superstar, or basketball player, anybody. Write it down. You get 1 minute to do this. Write it down and then list a couple of leadership qualities that you think that person has. I'll give you 1 minute. Let's go. Yes, question. You don't have anything to write with? Okay. If you don't have anything to write with, we're going to get you something to write with. Yes?
Can it be like your parents? Or
It can be your parents, yes. It can be a family member. Or it could be a famous person. Yes. Say again? You don't have a piece of paper? Okay, we'll get you. All right, guys, start writing. Yeah.
Hey guys, we realize everybody doesn't have a piece of paper. So if you don't have a piece of paper, it's fine. Mentally, think in your mind right now, who's a leader you admire? What personality traits and skills do they have? Must they have? And that's it. Make that list in your head. 30 more seconds, we can talk about it. Let's go. We're almost done here. It's like 2 more slides and we out. You got it, you got it, you got it. Who needs more time? Who needs more time? All right. I see a couple hands. They're thinking. We needed some music for this march training. We gotta have some music. Dead air. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna hand the mic back over to you so we can discuss it.
Okay. Everybody ready? Perfect. All right. So, who'd you guys come up with? Yes. LeBron James.
Yeah.
How many people have LeBron James? Okay, what? Give me some leadership qualities for LeBron James.
He can think like really quickly on like something like scary is about to happen. Like he can think really quickly and just make up like a good plan for his team.
Because that's a different situation, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What else?
He's confident and he doesn't get scared by like certain things.
Great. Absolutely. Cool. Great. Okay. Back there? Okay. Excuse me. I'm twice vaccinated, so don't get scared.
I put my stepdad.
Awesome.
Okay.
Why?
Absolutely.
Because like he's the one who's teaching me how to like be an architect. One day. Yes, he is. He's teaching me how to like use new technology. He taught me how to build a robot. And how to fix like a broken computer. I fixed my computer before. I don't know what this is.
Yeah,
That's great.
That's great. All right, we need to clone him.
One more. Anybody over here?
Okay, you got one quick over here.
I said Zendaya because she is a black actress and singer. Yeah, and also, it also proves that people can go to great heights, even with all the still discrimination going on. And she still helps others, even if she has all the other jobs and other busy stuff.
Okay, all right, so she's brave as well. All right, awesome. Okay, we got one more, and then we're going to move on.
Anybody over here?
What was it?
One. No leaders? You don't admire anybody?
Never mind?
Everybody
Okay.
You're dead.
Your dad. Okay, what leadership qualities do you admire in your dad?
I got you.
I look up to him because I look up to him because he's respectful and he's a good man. So I look up to him. So he's like my leader. Yeah.
So you look up to your dad, so that's what makes him a leader. What kind of things does your dad do? What kind of things does your dad do that you look up to? Your father is respectful and he does good things. Awesome. Thank you.
So one of the traits that he said was the ability to influence others. So his father has a profound influence on him. So you got one more real quick.
Scott Kaufman. Scott Kaufman.
Scott.
Kaufman.
He has determination, like when all the other games failed, when people said they were so bad, he made a new game, even though he didn't have that much money, and then it became really popular.
What game?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you want to be a gamer? Right? Because leaders inspire the next generation of leaders. All right, so we're going to move forward. All right, last we're going to talk about the difference between responsibility, accountability, and authority. All right? So I'm going to actually give this to you. So accountability. So accountability is the state of being accountable. Well, that's not helpful. Being liable or being answerable. All right? So what that really means is the buck stops with you. It means that you are the person that's ultimately responsible for everything to do with a particular project or whatever. You are the accountable person. All right. So the difference between accountability and responsibility. Okay, so responsibility can be delegated. That's one of the differences. So the way that I gave the mic to Keenan, I delegated the responsibility of the presentation to him, right? So if you're in a work or you're in a group environment where you're doing like a group project, if you're the leader of the entire project, you can say, hey, what's your name? Ethan. You can say, Ethan, I am delegating, I'm going to give you this part of the project that I want you to do. And you are now responsible, Ethan, you are now responsible for that part of the project. But if Ethan doesn't do what he's supposed to do, it falls on me because I gave him the responsibility to do it and he didn't do it. All right? So if the project fails, it's my fault because I'm the accountable person. So that's the difference between accountability and responsibility. Authority. Does anybody have an idea what authority is, real quick? Okay. Whoop. Easy.
Like, if you're in charge of someone?
Yeah. If you're in charge, it's actually like authority is given, and it's usually like, I have the authority to tell you what to do. I can tell you what to do. So that's the difference from accountability and responsibility, but it's sort of related. All right, so authority is the power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. All right? So a good leader accepts ultimate responsibility. We talked about this. All right? A good leader will give credit to his team if the project went over well. But if the project didn't go over well, a good leader is not going to blame his team. A good leader is going to say, take that blame himself. Starting to get it? Perfect. All right, and lastly, accountability cannot operate fairly without the leader being given authority, full authority. So, if you put me in charge of something, let's say the teacher put you in charge of something, but then the teacher goes and tells this other person that's on the team that's supposed to be listening to you a whole bunch of things that you didn't know about. How can you be responsible for that? Because the teacher's kind of going around you. I'll just use that as an example. I'm sure your teachers don't do any of this. All right? So, in order to be accountable, you have to have authority. All right? Okay, so we're going to open up for questions real quick. Are there any questions about anything we talked about today? How about on the chat? Okay. Any questions before we roll out? Anything you'd like to ask us? Yes? No? Okay. All right. Well, with that, I want you guys, first of all, I want you guys to fix this mic. But I want you guys to take some of the things that we were talking about today, take them with you out into the world, out into your classrooms. Be leaders, okay? And we'll see you next time.